Good morning and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today. We're going to be talking about the production features in Microsoft Dynamics 365 for finance and operations and how Dynamics 365 differs from other ERP solutions in this area. My name is Brad Vorbeck. I work in marketing here at Turnkey Technologies, and we also have Javier Ramirez with us, and he's our Dynamics 365 team lead here at Turnkey. If you have any questions during today's webinar, please feel free to ask them, and we will go ahead and get those answered at the end in a Q&A session. And then also the webinar is going to be recorded, and we'll be sending out a follow-up email with the PowerPoint and the recording for the webinar in that as well. Just a little bit about Turnkey Technologies before I hand it off to Javier here. Javier, do you want to move to the next slide with about Turnkey stuff? We've been in business since 1994. This year is actually our 25th anniversary. We were founded by Chris Garradini as a Microsoft partner, primarily focused on Dynamics GP, which was Great Plains back in the 90s before it was acquired by Microsoft. And since then, we've fully evolved into a Microsoft Dynamics 365 platform solution provider. We've got 50 plus employees across 3 different offices. Our headquarters here in St. Louis, but we also have an office in Chicago as well as one in Denver. And our primary goal is to help our clients adopt and realize the full benefits of their Microsoft technologies. We're primarily focused on ERP software, so the finance and operations side, but we also focus on customer engagement for CRM, analytics for Power BI, and Office 365 as well. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We will get those answered as best we can in the time we have at the end in a Q&A session. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Javier. You want to take over?
Thank you, Brad. And thank you, everyone, to take the time to join to this brief webinar, 3 minutes webinar. As Brad stated, my name is Javier Ramirez. I work for Turnkey Technologies as an AX team lead. Focus on D365 Finance and Operations Business Central team leader. So today I will be showing you just a brief overview about 3 different things regarding manufacturing. We're going to talk about scheduling and the importance of schedule materials on labor and cost centers, right? So how we can get benefit from all the different tools that D365 Finance and Operation has in order to enhance our business process by planning our production. Okay. The second step, or the second thing I will be mentioning, it's the different manufacturing types that we can perform inside D365 Finance and Operations, right? So is this only an ERP that only can manage discrete or process or lean, or it's an ERP that can have a mixed mode, right? So we will be talking about that. And the last one is going to be about shop floor control. Okay, so it's how can we empower our users to perform their job in an easier way? How do they can see on the floor what they have been assigned to and how they can report progress without writing down in a paper sheet, without need to send emails or communicating manually, right? How the system can drive that. So in the last part, well, if we have time, we're just going to show how we can manage a little bit of Power BI inside the tool. So that being said, I will start. First part of the presentation is going to be a PowerPoint. So first thing is, we were talking about production scheduling, benefits vision session, right? So basically what we have here is what are our main drivers, or what is what we want to have as a company. So basically we want to make sure that our capacity is being utilized in the best possible manner, right? So this means how can the system or how can ERP can help me to plan which cost centers based on requirements, based on capacities, based on capabilities, which cost centers I can use to manufacture a determined line of product. What's the percentage of utilization that I'm having in each one of my cost centers, and this can be machines or this can be resources, okay? How the system can help me to evaluate which alternatives do I have? So how the system can tell me which resources are unutilized so I can drag and drop activities into it on the fly, right? Um, and at the end of the day, that it's basically facilitating information processing. So if I have a dashboard where I can move around production orders based on two main drivers, one, sales orders, okay, which is my demand, and the other main driver, my cost centers utilization, well, that's information processing getting facilitated to me as a planner, right? So for example, balance demand versus actual capacity. Okay, so basically we have a way to view the utilization of the cost centers based on orders, right? We can propose assignments and dates. So you can see in this picture, you have in one side, you have all the sales orders, which is your demand, okay? And over here is telling you who's going to take care of that and which process is required, right? We can have different processes inside a route, right? And each process can go through a different resource. So in this simple scenario, you can see the resources that are assigned to each one of our orders, the dates where this is supposed to be happening, and the length or the duration of each one of our activities. You can see packing, assembly, testing, okay? So all these, of course, are driven by capacities, by skills, by locations, right? Because probably I have multiple and different sites. So this is managed by location, by resource, by capacity, by skill. And we have the ability to reschedule based even on material availability, which is one of our main problems in the industry, right? It's like, okay, I know that I need to perform this production order because I have a sales order to fulfill. But wait a minute, when am I ready from the materials perspective to start performing it? Sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes it takes us 2 hours of inquiries with other departments, downloads to Excel to know if we have the enough material to perform a production order. So that's not happening here. There is a way to reschedule based on material availability. So same thing, scheduling by resource. So you can drive the capacity utilization here. So basically what we can do is we can drag and drop from one activity from one resource to the other, and the validations of the system are going to go around the skills or around requirements. Okay, resource capacity load. So we have um, graphics where we can see what's the level of utilization between dates for a specific resource. So in this scenario, I'm looking at the capacity of the resource 1212. So we have on these dates, we have a capacity of 8 hours. So that allows us to know if there is going to be a downtime by maintenance. Okay, if we have that, well, the capacity is going to get reduced. Then we can use that information in order to schedule accordingly. Okay. And what I was telling you is about capacity and materials, is we have a multi-pegging or a multi-level pegging inside F&O, right? So I need to produce a standard speaker which has a production order number 171. Okay, so this is the bill of materials, okay, and it's going to tell you in which state each one of them. So I have the wiring, it's on hand. So for example, in this scenario, you have some on hands here, and there are some others that are coming in purchase order. So that means I still cannot start because the PO has not been received, okay? And there is also one part that it's in planning. So this is what drives the material availability deadline. Um, so after this PowerPoint, I will start jumping into the tool so you can see a couple of screens and some of these basic functionality that I'm mentioning. Okay, so let's talk about what type of production or what types of production does the system allows us, D365 Finance and Operation allow us to handle. Basically, three main ones. Discrete manufacturing, we know discrete manufacturing's products are duplicated by way on an assembly line, so we can reproduce them. They can go back to the way they were before they were on assembly. Okay, so basically the raw materials that we use are the same from the next job, right? So that's discrete manufacturing. Process manufacturing is basically the system allow us to convert and transform materials and ingredients, right? To manage byproducts and co-products, to manage yields. Okay, so at the end of the day, we can ensure that we can handle a process manufacturing inside finance and operations. At the end of the day, the original raw materials will never go back to the way they were before they were unassembled or mixed, right? Lean manufacturing, well, that's a concept that Microsoft introduced probably 3 years ago in a pretty good way inside F&O. It's just a pull system, okay? That where the intention is to produce goods only when those goods are needed, okay? So in that way, basically, we try to reduce delivery lead times. We try to reduce excess of inventory, okay? And same thing, can we use a mix mode, which part of my process probably is going to be discrete, and part of my process after that discrete part is going to be lean? Yes, definitely. We can make a mix mode, okay? Can we make the three of them working at the same time? Because probably in one part I'm performing or I'm doing packaging in one of my plants, and another one of my plants I'm making mixing and baking or making some formulation. So can we manage process manufacturing with discrete manufacturing with lean manufacturing? The answer is yes. It's just the way we, you and us, design the solution during implementation, but that's totally doable. So there's no limitation. The ERP is going to grow with you. So about discrete manufacturing, I'm just showing right now a couple of screens. Basically, we can manage BOMs, we can manage fixed and variable scrap, we can basically have a model to make to stock, make to order, assemble to order. The main two drivers of discrete manufacturing, BOMs and routes, okay? So here you can see an example of a pretty easy BOM. There's no limit on the levels that a system can handle. There are different types of BOM elements. Those can be phantom BOMs. Those can be subcontract BOMs, right? So probably I have a contractor that is going to perform part of my process, okay? Or I have materials. So in that way, we can tackle all the different scenarios. Next one is process manufacturing. It's based on formulas, okay? Main difference, okay, we can have yields, okay? We can define co-products and byproducts, okay? And at the end of the day, lean manufacturing, the main difference between this and the other two is that main manufacturing works with a production flow, okay, which is going to tell you, okay, my first step is to receive a transfer order, right? So every time there is an event that detonates this type of lean process, a transfer order is going to be created. And after that transfer order, we go to an assembly. And after that assembly, we go to a packaging. And after that packaging, we go and ship it to our final customer. So this is what we call a lean manufacturing process. There is an event that detonates the next actions based on the products that we are developing or we need to ship. Okay. Last part of the conversation is going to be shop floor control. So what shop floor control is going to allow us to do? Reduction of cost about typing information, about training, okay? And also it's going to give us a cost reduction based on the visibility that we will have all the time as managers. Okay, faster information flow, definitely. So we all the time will be able to know in which part of the process our workers are working with on a specific product. And we also need to see it as a return of investment driver, right? Because it needs to be faster the way we type in. That is going to improve productivity. Okay, we need to increase the accuracy of the accuracy of our data. Okay, and at the end of the day, all these two elements are going to streamline our process. Okay, and again, it's the training. It's so much easier than start working with Excel spreadsheets or writing down in paper or giving multiple screens to one worker on the line. Okay, so here you can see this say When we talk about faster information flow, this is a manager dashboard, so we can see who's working on which order, in which operation we are located, how many pieces are we performing, and the resource that is working on them, right? So this is really good information for a manager. Um, it's transparent or promotes the transparency, okay, about variations. So we can all the time look what are our jobs with deviation, and deviation can be deviation on items, on cost, or hours, and the variation could be less or more, right? So we can be over the budget, we can be under the budget, we can be over materials, under materials, over and or under time. So these variations or these deviations is another lookup that we have there by default. So and the cost reduction, well, basically it's because we have a screen like this where if you scan your badge ID or if you type in your personal number, your employee number, you can log in and you will see all the works that has been assigned to each one of you, to you. You have a way to say start job. You can see instructions, everything in one same screen. Okay, so this is about shop floor control. Okay, so I'll close my my PowerPoint and I'll go to my F&O environment. Okay, so what I will do is I will log in into F&O. Okay, so wrong address. So I'll go to F&O. Give me a second. I'm going to click on my projects. Okay, I'll log into my test environment. Okay, so you know, this is a cloud-based solution. Okay, and we have two ways to join. Right now I'm doing the hard one. Okay, so I'm going to log in here to my environment. The other option is I will select my credentials. The other option is just copy this as a URL, right? And basically I can log in next time. So if I save it as my favorites, I can just come here, paste, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is a multi-company entity or a multi-company system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in the USMF company. Okay, and I'll show you the following thing. So first thing, we were talking about planning and from the planning my resources from my production control manager point of view, right? So that's where we start talking about workspaces, what a workspace is, okay, and how does that work. So a workspace is just basically a repository of data from where I can see all the different things that I need to perform on my daily basis job. Okay, so in this scenario, I will be performing and I will be looking for my production manager workspace. Okay, so I have two options. I can look it in here, okay, or I can go all the time to menu where I will be able to see the production floor management workspace. Okay. Here is, this is going to be my first screen of the day, right? How many production orders do I have pending to release? Okay, as of 8/27. Who's working on what on my floor, right? So I want to filter by order, I want to filter by resource, I want to filter by operation. These are all the different operations that I have on my floor as of today. Okay, so that's something that you can have, and then you have the links. So you can add here, for example, Power BI reports. We're going to jump to that at the very end. So you can have, okay, I want to see picking lists that were posted. I want to see resources. I want to see all the production orders. So faster links, so we can go anywhere in the system just by clicking there. Okay, so let's go and say, okay, I want to see what do I have to produce probably by 9/30 2019. Okay, so the system is going to take that and it's going to tell you, okay, you're still with the same 4 production orders to release. Okay, so in here you will be able to see these production orders, they are going to tell you, yes, they are ready to be released. So basically, I will perform the following scenario. Okay, I will say that I'm a planner. Okay, even before I am a production controller, I will be a planner, and I will release an instruction to the production manager to say, hey, you know what, we have this need, which is, let me go here in the master plans. Oh, sorry, this is USSA, USMF. As a planner, I will say, based on a specific plan, we have all these needs, okay? So I will put this batch order on firm. So I will give the instruction to the production manager to start working on this. You know what? Let's just put this in firm. What is this going to detonate? A planner is saying, okay, based on my sales orders, okay, I can see that 8 pieces or 8 or 10 pieces are required. So my job as a planner is to say, okay, go there, go to the production area. Okay, so we were talking about information flow. So now if I go back to my production orders to release here, okay, and I'll select again this, let's say 93019. Give me a second. I will just refresh this one. This is supposed to be showing me a new production order here, ready to be started. So let me just go here, 10.1.19. I will select this one. And of course, it's every good demo. It's not there. So let me go back and do the following. I'll do a manual production order. Okay, so I will create a new batch order, right? And I will say that I will produce my item 155 to 160, right? So, and that I will be producing this out of my warehouse 32. Okay, I will say yes. And I will be producing, I don't know, let's say 10 gallons. Okay, I will say create. Okay, so I will create right now a batch order. Okay, which I will be filtering here by B. Okay, so my batch order is this one. The status is created. So I'm going to run my first step of the production side. I will estimate. What is estimation going to do? Estimation is going to allow me to see what it's or which ones are the planned cost for this production order, right? So based on the formula, based on the process, and based on indirect costing, I have that. So my next step is I will go and hit the schedule area. I'm going to schedule my job. So this one is going to say, okay, so system, please let me know who can work with this and when we can start working on it. Okay, so this scheduling, these two steps, they are performed automatically by the action that I try to perform prior to it. Okay, so I can just do it manually as well. So I'm performing that. And as of now, probably, let's take a look here. I will say, okay, what do I have as of 9/5/19? 9/27. This number changed, right, from 4 to 5. And what I can see here is that the new line is here, and I'm ready to go. It's ready to be released based on the BOM or the formula, right? Because I have all this information ready to be working with. Now, let's perform the following scenario. So if I do a new production order and I select the same item, but I select a different quantity, 55-2160, okay, I'll put just here my quantity is going to be 1500, okay, and I will select my, oh, it was a production order, sorry. I have an error here because I'm trying to create a production order since this item is not a discrete manufacturing item. I need to create a new batch order. Okay, so that was my bad. So 2160, okay. I have my quantity, my warehouse, so this is warehouse 32. I will insert the active formula, and I'm going to put 15,000 gallons, okay. Once I create or I hit yes and I perform my 2 steps of estimate and schedule, okay, so I will schedule this as of today, okay. The system here is going to tell me on the production release orders to released. It's going to give me a new one, but the difference between the first one that we were looking and this one is that it's going to tell me that we don't have enough production order, could not be scheduled, not enough capacity could be found. You see, there's no capacity to schedule that production order. So we can stop here because we don't have a capacity on our machines to work with 15,000, okay? So our options, at the same time that we're doing this, the system is validating all the different machines that we have available. So in here, what I can do is I can take out to my, and I can go to my Gantt chart. So as you can see, these quantities are really small. But what if I can say, you know what, I want to change my timeline here. I will say my time scale, this is 1 week, and I just need this probably from today till 9/1/19. Okay, I'm going to apply. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so I will hit this. What if I want to move this through here? Okay, it says that it's not on the load period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this to 10/31/19. Okay, so I can play with my time scale, so I can plan based on that time scale. So I can move this. So, but these operations, basically, they depend one to the other. So if I want to schedule the next jobs, I just need to do this. And this is going to schedule my next jobs about that. Same thing is telling me that doesn't have, give me a second. Okay, so I will say I don't want to make changes. Okay, so the Gantt chart here is going to allow us to play changing here my resources. Okay, I can change resources. I can see this view based on an order point of view. So for example, my purchase orders or my production orders. This is my production order for this. Okay, I have my resource associated. So in a bigger scale or with processes with more quantities, well, you're going to be able to see different lengths here. Okay, and what you do from here is you just release this portion. So as a manager, I will say, yep, if I have all the materials and that was the schedule, I want to release it. Okay, and that releasing step is going to give us something to perform on the floor. Okay, so as they are, as we already released that part, basically what we can do is we can just jump into our job card device, okay, log in as a personal number, and I will say, okay, while I'm now arriving so late, I will put this as a flex time, and you can see here the job card that the users on the floor they are going to see. So you can see the assigned work that they have over here. So you will see all this. You have this neutral disinfectant, and you can see some instructions here. So there are notes that they need to follow. You can print them out. There are some kind of uh, drawings that they need to see. You can come here and they can start now their job. Okay, all this is the information flowing from one part to the other of the process. They can start 10 pieces, okay, or 10 gallons, and then they need to report progress to close the clock in and clock out. So we can say I completed 10 pieces with a good quantity. So as you can see from the floor perspective, this is really easy to manage. Okay, and it's telling you that they are going to report 10 pieces as finished from this part, and they can go over. So all this is going to be updating at the same time the production order that we generated. So this is kind of the big overview that I wanted to present to you guys. Of course, 30 minutes doesn't allow us to go a little bit deeper on the Power BI, on the reports, but as Brad stated, if there is any specific question that you have, please let us know, send us an email, and we will stay in touch with you and make sure that your questions get fulfilled. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much, Javier. I want to go ahead and open the floor to questions at this time. I do realize that we're past our time, so if you have to, excuse me, if you have to log off, feel free to just shoot us an email, or I'll also be sending out a follow-up email, like I said, tomorrow, where you can respond to that and let me know what questions you might have. Javier, would you want to go back to the PowerPoint really quick? I just have one last slide I want to show them at the end. Again, please feel free to get questions together while I'm showing you this, but if you are looking at a new ERP solution and you are exploring Dynamics 365, go ahead and sign up for this 1-hour no-charge assessment with Turnkey. What this will do is we will basically ask you the high-level questions about your goals that you have for your solution, and within 1 hour we can hopefully simplify some of the research you have to do to at least give you a better direction of if this solution is going to fit your goals, or if not, what direction do you need to take your research in. There's a lot of questions to ask when you're looking at a new ERP solution, and to do all that research on your own can be pretty time consuming. So please feel free to take advantage of this offer, whether or not you want to go with Turnkey as your partner. This will give you a lot of value in your research process and help expedite things a little bit for you. So please take advantage of that. Let us know if you have any questions. Keep an eye out for the recording and the PowerPoint in your inbox tomorrow. And until next time, I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you again for joining us.